There is absolutely no link or correlation between the mythical tribes of Israel in the Hebrew Bible, namely, for example, Judah, Benjamin, Asher, Gad, etc., and the modern contemporary state of Israel as we know it today. The one is a mythological construction of ancient oral traditions, and the latter is a creation of Western settler colonialism in the 20th century. It should also be noted that scholars of the Hebrew Bible are unanimous in their assertion that there is no historical or archaeological evidence indicating that the Hebrew Israelites were essentially a homogeneous group of people. Even the term Jew is a modern construction, not an ethnic demarcation, but referring to a religious demarcation of individuals who worship the God of Judah. And there is also no historical linkage to modern Jews and the ancient lineage of Judah, which was the only surviving tribe after the Babylonian exile in 586 BCE. Now, I believe that there was an ideological movement that started in the early 18th century called British Israelism, a nationalist movement that associated the Anglo-Saxons or the British with the lost tribes of Israel. And essentially this ideology spread throughout the 18th century up until the 19th century, where it spread to the United States and subsequently to the rest of the world, where there was a direct consideration of European nationalism as on par with Israeli supremacy in terms of the fact that Europeans were God's chosen nation and that they in fact were the lost tribes of Israel. We can see this in the United States with certain movements, and most particularly in South Africa as well, with prominent movements in South Africa being the Boere Legioen, which were responsible for a wide range of terrorist actions. I also want to add that British Israelism, also known as Anglo-Israelism, or more commonly known today as Israel Vision, is at its very core a social Darwinist, fascist, and a racist ideology that bases its very fundamentals off of religious, cultural, and ethnic supremacy, and in my opinion is the ipso facto precursor to what we understand as modern Zionism, which was created by Theodor Herzl in the late 19th century in Basel, Switzerland. Yet the building stones that we see creating the very basis of what we understand as British Israelism, as well as Zionism, did not sporadically emerge out of thin air in the 19th century. Rather, this theme or this concept of racial and religious supremacy is something that has already been indoctrinated into groups belonging to the Judeo-Christian tradition. We see this theme evident in the Hebrew Bible, where Yahweh essentially tells the Israelites, "You are my chosen nation. I have chosen you to be separate. You are not to mingle or adopt other traditions of heathen nations." And this is why simultaneously we see certain nations suffering under the retribution of the Israelites.